Okay, so today's warm-up, it's asking for the least common denominator. So guys, if you look at these two fractions, notice this is missing a 2 and this one's missing an x. Whatever you do to the bottom, you also do it to the top. So if I put a 2 down here, also put a 2 up here. So guys, what's the least common denominator? 2x. 2x is what the denominator is when they're the same. Okay, number 2, we're going to have to factor for number 2. I need two numbers that multiply to give me -4, but add to 0. Yep, 2 and -2. 2 times -2 is -4. 2 plus -2 is 0. So I'm going to rewrite this denominator as x plus 2 and x minus 2. The numerator can stay the same. Okay, so that's this rational written again. I'm going to bring this over here so we can compare them. The other one is 1 over x plus 2. All right, guys, how do I make these common? How do I make them the same, the denominator? By adding what? X minus 2, perfect. Now, do you guys see that these look the same? Also do it to the top. Okay, guys, so what's my common denominator? X plus 2 and x minus 2. This is your denominator. The question just asks, what is the least common denominator? So here, the denominator, or 2x. Here, these are the denominators. All right, so let's go ahead and start the notes. Yesterday, we added these rationals. Today, we're subtracting these rationals. The same rules apply. The only difference is you have a subtraction sign today instead of an addition sign. All right, so looking at this, the denominators are the same. So what do? Yep, you just carry this 8 over. If they're the same, just carry it over. And we're subtracting this time. So what's 15x minus 3x? 12x. Good, that's your answer. So let me highlight the important parts of the notes. First, you want to factor if you can. Then you find the least common denominator. They already did that for you. The denominators are the same. Okay, next we're going to subtract today, and you're going to simplify if possible. Those are basically the steps that you need to know. Okay, so we already subtracted and got 12x. Now we're going to simplify. So guys, look, we're going to divide the 12 by 4 and divide the 8 by 4. So what will your answer be? Twelve divided by 4 is 3. 8 divided by 4 is what? 2. So this should be your answer, 3x over 2. All right, let's do another example. Next, are these denominators the same? No, what does this side need? Okay, so what do I put? X and, yes, whatever you do to the bottom, you also do to the top. Okay, let's write what we have. I'm just going to copy this first one again. That did not change. Minus, this is 5x. This is 3. How do I write 2 x's? X squared. Now, do they match? So I just carry it over, 3x squared, and I'm going to subtract the numerators. Well, these are not like terms, so just keep them separated. And that's it. Let's put this in order. Normally the x comes first, so it'll be -5x plus 2. 3x squared. Do you guys see what I did? I just put the -5x in the front, and I put the +2 in the back. All right, next. Next example. Are my denominators the same? Perfect, just carry it over. Now, let's talk about the numerator. What is A minus A? 0. Okay, so those are gone. I'm just going to cancel those out. Okay, next. What is negative 4B minus 6B? Say it one more time. What is it? Guys, type this into your calculator. Negative 4 minus 6. Negative 10. Okay, so guys, this is pretty much our answer. We just have to simplify. So guys, this can be divided by 2, and this 2 can be divided by 2. So let's see what we get. Negative 10 divided by 2 is negative 5. 2 divided by 2 is just 1. And you don't have to write the 1. Can we go further in simplifying? What do you guys think? No? Let me draw y'all a picture. Let's look at this part. This is 1b in the numerator and 4 b's in the denominator. Those cancel. How many b's are left? 3. So we can write this as negative 5 in the numerator, a cubed, that part stayed the same. However, the b's, you'll just have b cubed. So this is your answer simplified. All right, next problem. Are these denominators the same? No, so we cannot subtract just yet. I'm going to put a m minus 2 here and a m plus 1 here. Now do those look the same? Yep, this looks exactly like this. Okay, whatever you do to the bottom, you must do to the top. So since I put an m minus 2 in the denominator, you also need to put an m minus 2 in the numerator. Okay, now we have successfully gotten the same denominator. Okay, let's evaluate this. I'm going to multiply these parentheses out. What's 3 times m? 3m, thank you. What is m times negative 2? Negative 6, thank you. So that's the first one. Now let's look at the second one. 5 times m, 5m, 5 times 1, 5. All right, guys, let's go ahead and evaluate. You just carry the denominator over. M minus 2 times m plus 1. Okay, now guys, remember, today we are subtracting. So look, 3m minus 5m is what? Good, thank you. Negative 2m. All right, next, let me highlight what we need. I have negative 6 minus 5. Tell me what it is. Thank you. Negative 11. That's your answer. Okay, next example. You always want to factor if you can. Let's look at the notes, what we highlighted or what we boxed. First, if you can factor, always do that first. So let's go back to example 5. Let's try to factor. Can we think of two numbers that multiply to negative 17 and add to 2? Oh, good. You got the one for the bottom. Okay, so the bottom one, multiply to 10, add to 7. You said 5 and 2. Perfect. The top, though, I can't think of any numbers. We tried. We can't factor the top. Okay, so let's write down what we have. This fraction stayed the same. This numerator stayed the same because we could not factor it. The denominator, Alex told us 5 times 2 is 10, 5 plus 2 is 7. So we're going to write it as p plus 5 and p plus 2. Okay, now we can see what's missing. What should I add to that first denominator? Good. It needs a p plus 5. So I'm going to put a p plus 5 here, both on the top and the bottom. Now my denominators look the same. Okay, let's go ahead and evaluate this. What is p times p? P squared, good. P times -3? -3p. 5 times p is 5p. 5 times -3 is -15. Okay, so just carry over the denominator, and let's talk about the numerator. So let me highlight it for you. What is p squared minus p squared? 0. So those canceled out. Okay, next. What is -3p plus 5p minus 2p? It is 0. What you guys can do is -3 plus 5 is 2, minus 2 is 0. You can also type this into your calculator. -3 plus 5 minus 2 is 0. So those all canceled. Finally, guys, what is -15 minus -17? Nope. Type this into your calculator. -15 minus -17. 2, thank you. All right, that's it. That's your answer. -15 minus -17. 2 negatives make a positive. So this becomes 2. All right, next example, last one, guys. If you can factor, always factor. Guys, try this one on your own. You guys are thinking of 2 numbers that multiply to -6, add to -1 for the numerator. For the denominator, you want 2 numbers that multiply to -15, add to 2. Whatever these numbers are, that is what will go in your factors, as your factors. Okay? Check your progress. So 2 numbers that multiply to -6 are -3 and 2, and those add to -1. So it'll be x minus 3. Oh, sorry, this is in the top, the numerator. And let me use b's. So b minus 3 and b plus 2. That's this one for the numerator. Next, for the denominator, 2 numbers that multiply to -15 are 5 and -3, and those add to 2. So it'll be b plus 5 and b minus 3. Do you guys see what can cancel? Good. All right, what's left over? What can you do? I'm going to stop it here. You guys finish. Okay, so what we have now is b plus 2 over b plus 5 minus 4 over b plus 5. Since the denominators are the same, just bring it over. And b, we can do 2 minus 4 is what? So this should be a -2 or -2. So this is your answer. Okay, this is a question on y'all's practice. I saw every class factor the numerator here, factor this one, and factor this one. You don't have to do all of this factoring. Do you guys see that the denominators already match? These denominators are the same. If they're the same, just carry it over. So copy it down, c squared plus 7c plus 12, that's your denominator. Now let's talk about the numerator. What is c squared minus c squared? 0, those canceled. What is -2 minus -4? Yep, +2, so that'll be a 2c. Next, what is 3 minus -5? Yep, 8. Okay, now we can try to factor it. We can factor this to simplify it. So guys, let's look at the numerator here. I have 2c plus 8. What can these both be divided by? 2. So 2 will go on the outside. I'm left with 8 divided by 2 is 4. Okay, so this is the numerator. Let's look at the denominator. I'm going to do an eye chart. Two numbers that multiply to 12 and add to 7 are 4 and 3. So I can write this as c plus 4 and c plus 3. You guys see what cancels out? C plus 4. So your final answer is you have 2 in the numerator, c plus 3 in the denominator. That is your final answer.